Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different connections, not just to the prequels and the originals, but also Star Wars Rebels and Legends / the expanded universe that will be used as inspirational material for the storytelling of this movie by director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, looking at Episode 9, we do know that this movie is going to be a very important film for Disney and Lucasfilm, and even all the more so for the Star Wars community around the entire world. That's going to go ahead and see this movie come December of this year. So, with that being said, this movie really does have to deliver when it comes to treating it as the culmination of the Skywalker saga. A film, if you will, that's going to have a lot of callbacks to the prequels and the originals, which it is, and thanks to JJ and George Lucas and Chris Terrio. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9. Now, specifically, a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren, entering of what's described to be an abandoned Imperial base from over 30 years ago, on an unknown world in the Outer Rim. It's said that eventually both Kylo and his knights reach one of Palpatine's vaults that is said to contain many secrets of Darth Sidious. It's described that eventually Kylo discovers a section within the vault, where Kylo is described to activate a large holo projector that projects a hologram of Darth Maul, where the hologram of Maul is described to appear just as he did in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, unlike his design in Solo: A Star Wars Story. It's explained that the Maul hologram serves as a message to Palpatine that Maul discovered one of the Dark Temples that serves as a key to immortality. Additionally, it's described that the Maul hologram reveals that the Dark Temples reveal that the Beyond is a place that is constantly shrinking and only has so many decades left to provide the power to eternal life, and that Maul reveals to Palpatine of sensing a dark presence near the unknown regions. The hologram is said to be cut off just as Kylo turns around to discover a large abstract object that glows in a red hue, which is said to be a large relic taken from the Dark Temple. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that Episode 9 is going to have a lot of callbacks to many of the prequel trilogy characters just like this here. So the really great thing about Episode 9 is Palpatine is going to be a major character in this film. He's really not going to be like a mere cameo or anything around those lines, or a little side character. He really is the core of the plot of this movie, which is great, because that really does make the whole entire Skywalker saga become one. Now, with that being said, the thing that really gets me is the hologram of Darth Maul. Now, it's described that it's appearing just as he did in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. You guys may recall the hologram scene in The Phantom Menace where, we see Palpatine and then we see Darth Maul. Very interesting. So, this most likely is a hologram that was recorded during the events of Episode 1, or maybe even possibly before the events, just before the events of Episode 1. So, this hologram, alright, we actually went over this lightly a couple of days ago about there being a secret between both Palpatine and Maul, and how they were both trying to find a way to eternal life, or Palpatine was, through the help of Maul. Now, the thing about this is the Dark Temples are said to be keys, if you will, to immortality, and Darth Maul was actually said to have recorded this hologram while he was inside of one of the Dark Temples, reporting to Palpatine that he has discovered one of the locations over in the Outer Rim. Now, what's really exciting about this is that this is actually said to be a moment in which we have a moment where Darth Maul reveals to Palpatine in this hologram, where he reveals that he senses a dark presence near the unknown regions. Now, we do know that Supreme Leader Snoke was a dark entity that existed within the unknown regions and was born from the Beyond itself. So, that really does make one wonder, this presence that Darth Maul felt that he was reporting to Palpatine about, could it very well have been Snoke right then and there, or could it very well be the Dark Acolyte that's going to play a major role in the third act of Episode 9? So the last piece that I do want to go over that really caught my attention quite a lot here is how Darth Maul also goes on to tell Palpatine about the Dark Temples and the Beyond, and how the Beyond is a place that is constantly shrinking over time, getting smaller and smaller, and is only going to last a couple of more decades. So throughout the ages, Palpatine really needed to find a way to live on forever as the dark side energy, was eating his body away. It's one of the big reasons as to why, the Palpatine appears different in The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Return of the Jedi especially. Return of the Jedi, I should say, he looks more frail as opposed to how he did in Revenge of the Sith. And that is all due in part to the dark side energy, decaying his body away. So that's why he had to find another way to live on forever. Again, tapping into the Star Wars Dark Empire comic. And that's what I like about this film. It's going to have a lot of Star Wars Legends callbacks. It's going to have a lot of these prequel trilogy connections that are really going to make us feel very nostalgic of the Star Wars franchise and of the Skywalker saga itself. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.